Hi everybody, Kirk here with Space Pickle Designs, and today we are going to upcycle a perfectly fine necklace here. And this is in one of the necklaces I got in that mystery bead haul that my mom sent me from the thrift store. And so we're taking this perfectly fine on its own coral necklace and we're just gonna give her a little makeover. So I did pull out a couple other colors that I thought would look good with this necklace in particular, and she's a very short necklace. She's like a 15-inch necklace, so I do want to extend her to about at least 18, maybe 20 inches. And so yeah, I have some ideas. I think we're gonna do like a segmented chunky with big jump rings and then have some dangles here and there, but I'm really liking the like the orangish red with the turquoise here. I did like those pops of purple as well, because these two amethysts are actually from when I was using the MOCHA mousse palette. And so both of those videos, the unboxing of these and the MOCHA mousse video, I will link down below in the description box so you can check those out, so you can kind of see how I made these little components, these little whimsical components. But first things first, let's go ahead and gather our loose beads. Put them in our tray. I also have a new toggle clasp because look at that lobster. Oof. All right. So what I'm going to do, this girl needs a bath. She really, really does. So the way that this is going to work for me is I'm going to keep the chips strung and I'm going to scrub them on the strand. It just makes it easier. And I'm going to take this pendant off. So it's pretty simple little setup here, and I'm going to cut this. We've got a pretty tarnished head pin here, so it'll be nice to change her out. And just do a little accent for her. So we'll see about this. There is a little bit of corrosion on there. I'll zoom in a little bit. There is a little bit of corrosion. I actually don't mind corrosion if it adds to the piece, but we are going to wash these beads, so cue the bead jacuzzi. So I lied. It's not a jacuzzi, but it is a bubble bath and it is warm and has about half a pump of baby shampoo, so like a fragrance-free, no parabens, all that kind of thing, baby shampoo. And I have an old toothbrush that I'm going to use to scrub away. So I will set my pendant in, my string of beads, kind of zhuzh them around. I do have a microfiber towel right here. And just kind of get that going. I choose to use warm water so that I can dissolve any sort of hair product or lotions or oils that may be on this piece. I'm not sure of her origin, you know what I mean? So we just give her a fresh start. I also have this bead cap. I am going to keep it in my hand. Swish that around so I don't lose it. I'm going to go ahead and give her a scrub. And it won't remove the tarnish or the corrosion, so to speak, but it will still get some of the grit and grime. I'm going to put her on my microfiber towel. I'm going to fish out my pendant. Put her on the towel, and then for the strand, We're back with our clean water, and there shouldn't be too much residue from the baby shampoo, but we are going to wash it off with some clean water. And look at that vibrant color. It's a very pretty color, coral here. Take those, no bubbles or anything. Take our little bead cap. Move our little bath off to the side. We have our beads just drying. And I just like to pat them with another microfiber. And there's two reasons why I kept these chips on the strand. First of all, it's easier to clean for the most part. We did try to go through each part of the necklace here. And when I'm looking to string these again, it is just easier to kind of pull a section off and then feed them back on to whatever you're stringing them on. So it's kind of a twofold situation. So I'm gonna let these dry completely, and I'm gonna bring out the beading mat. So here we are. We have some options, and the first of which is we do need some length. We have a lot of beads here that's gonna add more than enough length. So do we want to do like an actual wide necklace to where we have our necklace, and then we have a kind of like a chain that goes down and then the dangle? So we would have our kind of our piece down here with some beaded chain. If we can kind of see that, visualize that. And I think, you know, maybe just to switch it up, I do want to do that. But let's get our little bead cap here. She actually looks pretty good. Some of that tarnishing did come off. I did coat it with permalac to kind of give her some more longevity, so to speak. And so let's see if we can find a longer gold head pin. We've got one down here. So this is probably a 2.5 inch. I just want to make sure that this fits. So she does. You can go ahead and add that. We can play around with the idea of maybe adding another bead to this if that pearl's too small. Something like this. You could do something like that. Don't exactly like, you know, the bead cap in that position. Play around with it. We can also just do kind of like a beaded chain, so to speak, and add those on. So maybe that's what we'll do. We'll keep it pretty simple because we're really just about enhancing the design of this necklace. We don't have to do, like, I think we're tempted as jewelry designers, right? And hobbyists to like really, let's just do it. Let's do all of it. And I'm very guilty of that. And so sometimes there's like just beauty and simplicity. But I really would like to see some turquoise kind of near. So is that too big? It might be. This might be a good size. And then we have something like that, right? We kind of make the chain look like that. Let me see. Do we like the look of a pearl in there? Kind of like a little pearly in there. Maybe we'll just keep it simple. These are fire polish. I love having my fire polish nearby. I'll zoom you out. This is kind of like how I organize my fire polish. So by color, right? So these are my blues and greens. And so I just went through and picked out a few that I thought kind of went with this piece. And so I think I kind of want to do this. I am going to bring out some gold bead caps or some bronze bead caps just to see what they look like, see if we need that. So my gold bead caps are super gold. And I kind of want to stay away from the super gold, the cheesy gold. So I did bring out my bronze ones. And I'm going to try to use some like small ones just to see what it looks like. So we'll bring some of these little stars out. Maybe we'll put 2 stars on that one and then keep that one kind of plain. Man, jewelry making is just so fun. Like, I just recommend that everybody get into it. It's so relaxing. And I know, like, I'm putting on a production, right? Like, I have to think about camera angles and design and, like, hey, are people gonna like this kind of thing? You know, is it something that people would want to watch? And I still have fun. Like, it's just pretty wild because I just love the process. So let's see what these little stars look like. And I'll let you be the judge too. So you can scream at me down in the comments. It'll be future me, kind of, that's answering. But I do like that for that. And I think it just gives it just a little bit of contrast because we're bringing in that bronze early. And so we have like our ode to how it was, right? This is like how it was. And so we're just gonna add just a little bit to enhance the beauty of what was. And again, if you want to do wrap loops, by all means do wrap loops. I'm just a simple person. Simple loops are my thing. I just like the flowiness of it. Whenever I've done wrap loops, it just seems like they get kinked up, and you know, I just haven't mastered it, I guess is what I would say. So there's some people out there that really master that wrap loop, and hats off to you. And so what I want to do here, before I connect this, I'm going to go ahead and make this component, but I do think I want to try to, where'd she go, kind of add this on top of our gemstone. And it may be too much, so we may take it off, but that's the whole fun of playing around. So I have my little 6mm fire polish, and I love this one. It has like a gold splash on it. And she's just going to be shining in her own beauty. Alright, so when we connect these, we're going to connect these with jump rings. And when we do it, I kind of want some smaller jump rings, so I'm going to get those out real quick. So I have jump rings, and let's just play around with what this is going to look like. These are regular, probably a 22 gauge. And so I do want to connect these two with a jump ring. And I want to play around to see if this pendant is going to hang correctly. So in order to kind of do that, we have to kind of see it all together. And when I'm looking at this, that charm looks too high to me. So that's why I got out these little jump rings, and you're going to need to add them in like sets of 2 just so that it hangs correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and close that up really nice. I'm going to add these jump rings, and these are my little 4mm guys. So get your bright lights going because they're a little hard to see, you know, where they open and close. But that's good because if you get them closed, it's going to be very seamless. So it's a nice jump ring. Those are really nice. These are from Fire Mountain Gems. So before I close this up, I do want to attach it, and we'll see the length. And so now you see we're kind of getting there, and it provides some swing. And I think I'm good with that because I kind of don't want to obscure this little, you know, beauty mark. I love that. And on the other side as well, but this is going to be our front side, so we are showing our beauty mark here. You know, everybody's got a beauty mark. So then we have our last component for the Y part of the necklace. And so here is our, like, you know, here's our jam. So I think I do want, so now that we have like separation from the red to another part of the red, I do want to add in some more red before we get into adding purples. And we can do that pretty soon after, but I do want there to be some red there. So we are going to go ahead and make some components. To make this easier on us, I'm going to try to use some eye pins, which I rarely do, but I think this is a good time for it. So we're kind of like putting ourselves into the length that we want to go. And I'm just going to cut this clamshell off by clamshell. Like I said, kind of grabbing it like this. Oh, and these eye pins are not going to work because the holes are pretty small. So let me go ahead and get some thin gauge wire and I'll meet you back. So just like a little side note, when I design, I like to put the thickest gauge wire that will fit into a bead, just because I like the thickness and the sturdiness of the gauge, because I use a lot of craft wire and I do a lot of simple loops. So having that thicker gauge makes it more sturdy. And so I am using a 22 gauge. So 20 was just too much. And I'm going to feed on about an inch worth of these chips. So I will save you from watching me do that. So I have about an inch of chips and I am still going to do simple loops. All right. And that is the ugliest. See, we all make mistakes, y'all. Like, if that wasn't sitting right with your soul, then, you know, do another one. That was not sitting right with my soul. And it's because I never use 22 gauge. I'm always using 20 gauge. So here we go. And I'm going to go ahead and make another simple loop on the other side. I use my pliers in this way to kind of get that leverage point to where I can just bend it over to create that right angle. And you know what? One of our viewers has pointed out that I should be using my double flush cutter, and I agree with her. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm just in my own little ways, you know? Like, I'm so used to my own little routine. So if you guys haven't seen this, it is a double flush cutter from Xuron. And it makes decent flush cuts on both sides. There's one side that's really good and then one side that's like pretty good. So it's like 85% to a flush cut. And you know, in order to save time, I'm gonna use it. So we can adjust our loops a little bit. They're looking crazy tonight. You know, they're looking a little crazy tonight. But I do want them to be the same. All right, and so these are the components that we're gonna make for the coral. Now I'm gonna make probably 6 of these at least just to get started, and then we can continue with our necklace. All right, so I've made 6 components, so we can just kind of get started. I also did a bunch of these pearls, just single, and I do have my amethyst. And I have some of these purple beads that I had from the other day. And then I have my pearls and my fire polish. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to make single like components just like I did here. I'm not going to add any metals to it. We are going to have a lot of metals showing. So I'm going to do this and we will start assembling, and then we will go ahead and, you know, do more coral as needed or whatever, but this will give us a really good start on designing our necklace. So I've done a lot of components and now I just kind of want to play. So what I'm going to do, I I'm just not going to do a symmetrical necklace. I know for you symmetrical folks, I will be doing a symmetrical project, but I just really want to lay these out, see how I feel about it, and yeah, let's just play. I will fast forward through this process just a little bit so it's like more enjoyable to watch. I always love a good like time lapse or like speed run through, right? And so that's what we're gonna do. And so I'm really just playing with how I want the components to lay, and yeah, enjoy. Alright guys, so here's kind of the base design that I'm going to do. And then we string this up, not string it up, but we link it up. And then we see if we want to do any more just like embellishments around these rings. I do want there to be some like negative space or some, just something different to kind of break up the necklace. So let's go ahead and connect these and see what it looks like. So right now we have about a 20-inch necklace. So this part is a 20-inch necklace, and then we have our hanging down piece, which is about 3 inches. And I think what I do, this is the base necklace. You could stop here, be totally fine, right? But what I do think I want to do is either mirror these pendants on a couple of these jump rings, or just make some simple little like metal like on head pin, kind of like just dangles for a couple of these, just to give it some sort of like movement as well as like some visual interest. So I am gonna make a little dangly do here with the metal components. I decided against the pendants. I just laid it out and it didn't really look how I wanted it to. So I'm just taking a little antique bronze spacer, and I'm putting it on a bald head pin. And we're gonna have 2 of these that only have 1. And I'm just doing a simple loop. These head pins are so super strong that a simple loop is just gonna work fine. All right, got our first one. Second. third. Definitely cover your wire for these if you get these head pins because they are tough. Something like that will probably fly around like shrapnel. All right, so we have this, and what I want to do with these components is take a larger jump ring. I'm going to feed on the one with 1, the one with 3, and then the one with 1. Okay, so now we have like a little, kind of like a little cascade, so to speak. I close this up. Then I'm going to take this smaller jump ring. I do the bigger jump ring first because I want the components to have more room to move. Set this off to the side. I am going to bring out my necklace. And as you can see, there's already some that I've attached on here. I think it just is so cute, especially since they're kind of like, you know, they're not all in the same place, so to speak. Let me see, here we go. Like the rings aren't in the same place, so it kind of gives it like a little bit of a cool feel. And so this one I am going to put on the outside. And I am going to close it up. Now we can take a look at our necklace from a holistic perspective. I'll kind of keep the top part out of the way. But now we have our little jingles. We have our pendant up front, which will lay right when you know, you're wearing it. And I think she's complete. We could have put another like little component right there, but I think it looks okay. And I think it looks just so super cute, and it's gonna be so fun when you have just a little bit of something kind of moving around on this necklace. So it just creates that extra dimension of interest without like overpowering the piece. Okay, so here we are. This is our upscaled red coral looking piece here that we had taken from a thrift find, and we kind of made it our own. And so it's always awesome to get some beads that you can just repurpose and like turn into what your vision is. And we kept kind of the vibe. We just added a little bit more playfulness to it. So the one that we had before was pretty plain, and now this one is just like stepped up another notch. So she's gone through puberty, right? She's found her style. She's probably in her early 40s. Okay, very pretty. And I hope you like this one. Let me know down in the comments one thing that you would have changed about this design, and I'll look forward to reading those. I hope you're staying safe and well, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.